I like to give credit where credit is due. Recently, a report came out that the NBA is considering, or it's a thought, that the remaining season and potentially the playoffs and the finals could potentially be played at Disney World. And that was actually a proposal that you set up, correct?
Yeah, well, I'm not going to take full credit for it, but I did lay out a plan for how that could work for Yahoo Sports, definitely.
So walk me through that process because it's fascinating. So some people say Vegas, staying, on the Vegas Strip, blocked off and more. When you wrote this piece at Yahoo, did you consult with anybody? I know you're in the Orlando area. What was was it just like a random night just saying, hey, this is what we should do? What was the process in your writing?
Sure, yeah. Basically how it came together was once it became clear that the shutdown wasn't going to be just for a couple weeks. We all remember, right? They shut it down and we thought, all right, this will be 2 weeks and then we'll be back at it. And it became clear it was going to be a while. And then that's when we started to hear all of the stuff about single site locations potentially being under consideration. And everybody immediately went to Las Vegas. And this was a month or so before anybody was presenting plans or there was really any serious talk. And that makes sense because summer league's there and the whole league's there for a couple weeks each summer. So that made sense to me. Then as it got a little more serious of, hey, this is really a thing that's under consideration, the more and more I thought about it, I was like, Las Vegas makes some sense, but there were a lot of flaws for me in that plan, especially around creating the bubble and those kind of things. So what I did was I said, and Walt Disney World makes a lot of sense too. And why that came to me is I worked for Disney for nearly 20 years, the vast majority of that time here in Florida at Walt Disney World. And I know the property, as well as anybody's gonna know it. I reached out to a couple people who still work for the company. Full disclosure, I left working for Disney about 3 weeks before the season shut down to cover the NBA full time. So my timing is absolutely impeccable on that one. But, so what I did was I reached out to a couple people, said, hey, make sure, more just kind of fact check me on this, make sure I got these facts and figures right. And then I got with my editors at Yahoo and said, hey, I got this plan. What do you think? And we decided to run with it.
So Scoopy Radio on the line with Yahoo Sports is Keith Smith. At the point in which that story kind of took a life of its own when the Athletic and Stadium Sports' Shams Charania got a hold of it, it seemed as though the very thing that you said was considered. I know Shams, I know you. However, I guess the question is, how did he further that argument? Was it just that he said it? Was it that he reported that the NBA was considering it? How did his reporting differ from yours?
Yeah, I think, and I don't know this, I've not spoken with Shams about this. I do know him a little bit.
I'm not starting any trouble. I'm just curious.
No, I get it. No. For real. No, my guess is he spoke with someone from the league, and they probably, said, yeah, it's under consideration. Now, I had heard that as well. I heard from the league the day the article posted, which was on April 16th, I believe. We heard from the NBA, and all it was a very short note that said, thank you for the thoughtful and thorough proposal. We appreciate it. And that was all it was. There wasn't we're considering this, this is a done deal. Nothing like that. And that's pretty common for the NBA. They'll reach out to folks on occasion when there's something, a bigger kind of more league-wide piece is written and the like. So that was, that was very nice to get. My guess is Shams, though, a couple weeks later, got some more details from someone within the NBA who said, yeah, that Disney plan is something we're really considering. And when he put it out there, I mean, he's Shams, right? He's got a massive following. He's kind of the number 2 dude for news behind Woj. So that would make sense that it would blow up from there.
And since Shams has mentioned your report, and which was a furthering of your research, you mentioned the Rookie Wire, the Tampa Bay Times, the Beloit Daily News, Waterloo Cedar Falls Courier, a myriad of other places. How has your I don't know if profile is the right word. I think you have a profile, but how has just the awareness of you, I'll say, expanded?
In this respect, huge. I like a lot of people cover the league, I'll do, radio appearances throughout each week, and that now they've slowed down considerably with nothing to really talk about new, until last week. After last week, it kind of exploded. I've done more radio and podcasts and TV appearances in the last few days here. This is Sunday. Shams broke the news. I want to say it was on Wednesday, afternoon. In those few days, I've done more of that than in any period I've ever done in my life, and that includes even, when it's prime free agency or trade deadline or anything. So it's been a lot of fun. A lot of people have the same kind of reaction of, I saw it, I was like, I don't know about this. This seems crazy. Then I read it, and it was, all right, this kind of makes some sense. So that's been a lot of fun.
Scoop B Radio.